This week in Louisiana agriculture.
Debate over the Farm Bill moves from the Senate to the House. What does that mean for you? I'm Avery Davidson with that story ahead.
Louisiana soybean farmers are struggling to get their crop in the ground. I'm Kristen Oakes, and I'll explain why coming up.
And in Holly Clegg's Trim and Terrific Kitchen, Holly and AJ make some feel-good food that can really make you feel good. Hello everyone, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's program. The Farm Bill debate now moves to the U.S. House of Representatives. By a vote of 66 to 27, the Senate approved its version of the Farm Bill. Both Louisiana Senators Mary Landrieu and David Vitter voted in favor of the bill. But as This Week in Louisiana Agriculture's Avery Davidson now shows us, amendments made to the bill on the House floor could hurt Louisiana's farmers and ranchers as well as the state's farm economy.
Louisiana's wheat crop could be the last major harvest under the current Farm Bill. That's only if the U.S. House of Representatives passes its version of the new Farm Bill before the end of July.
Our farmers are having to make decisions where there's a degree of uncertainty. Uncertainty costs money.
Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain says there are many similarities between the Senate and House Farm Bills.
When you look at it, it's a $955 billion bill. It's 10 years, 5 and 5 years. And when you look at it, there are a number of consolidations and a number of downsizings. They consolidated or eliminated over 100 federal programs. So we're looking for efficiencies. They're working to find efficiencies. When you look at the overall program, 20% goes to the actual what we call commodity programs. 80% goes into supplemental nutrition assistance programs. And when you look at that, the big differences now between the House and the Senate versions will be how much they will decrease the SNAP, the supplemental assistance program, and where that's going to go over time.
I think in general for Louisiana, the Senate version that they passed is going to be good for crops in Louisiana.
LSU Ag Center economist Dr. Mike Selassie says how good the final Farm Bill is for Louisiana farmers and ranchers depends upon the changes made by the 435 members of the House.
There are people in the House that do want to make some more cuts, and so they're going to probably make some amendments and have some arguments, but I think given the fact that the Senate has already passed their version of the Farm Bill, that the House proposal is very similar, and Congress wants to hurry up and address immigration, I think there's a lot of pressure on the House to hurry up and go ahead and pass a Farm Bill.
I can tell you that things are going to be intense over the next 2 weeks probably. We're going to be moving very hard to move this bill off the House floor. We're going to be watching for how the interaction between the two chambers, how that goes along, and we're going to be working with our fellow commissioners to push this title forward.
If this Farm Bill becomes law, Louisiana farmers who used to receive checks in the form of direct payments will likely have to begin writing checks to make sure they can stay in business after a disaster.
If the shift is to focus more on crop insurance, for growers of like rice and sugar cane and specialty crops that are different from traditional row crops, they're going to have to try to design some alternative crop insurance programs that can fit those crops. And the only way you're going to get increased participation in crop insurance is for a crop insurance product to be a really viable option. I mean, growers are not going to pay $30 or $40 an acre for a crop insurance policy that rarely, if ever, is going to pay.
In the case of rice, Selassie says there is good news despite the loss of those direct payments.
I think for rice, you know, obviously the price option, that adverse market program is what they want because they need price coverage. It's an irrigated crop, so yield risk is not really a big factor. The one advantage is that they will be able to update their program yields. That option is still going to be paid on 85% of base acres, but they do have an option to update their program yields, and for rice in Louisiana, that is important. Our average yields over the past few years have been around 6,500 pounds per acre. Our average program yield, which is what payments are based on, is about 4,200 pounds. So the ability to update that program payment to more realistic yield levels is going to be a big benefit for rice growers.
And benefits for growers mean benefits for consumers and Louisiana's economy. In New Orleans, I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Now, Farm Bill observers in Washington say they're confident the House will approve a Farm Bill and send it to President Obama before the August recess. Farm policy analysts say what will likely spur quick movement on the House Farm Bill is the same motivation that members of the Senate had, the pending debate on immigration reform. That too will impact Louisiana farmers, ranchers, and many Bayou State businesses. We will bring you updates on the immigration reform debate in the coming weeks.